Hey, Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel. And today we're talking about Facebook fundraising tips for nonprofits. What should you know if you want to utilize Facebook as a nonprofit to not only spread awareness about your cause, but also to grow your donor database? We're covering all of that today. So if you're not familiar, my name is Salvador Briggman. I wrote the book Nonprofit Crowdfunding Explained. I also have the book out there on Amazon called Nonprofit Fundraising Hacks, Scientific Ways to Get People to Care About Your Nonprofit Organization and to transition them into being donors. Basically, I'm a marketing guy. I love marketing. I also love distilling this into easy to follow and understand steps for you as an organization, because if you're like any other organization out there, geez, social media is a massive headache. Not a lot of people that I know like to use social media when it comes to their personal life, but for a business, it is a must. You need to have a Facebook page as a nonprofit organization, and here is why. First of all, it has a lot of baked-in functionality when it comes to Facebook. So very simply, you can install a donate button on your actual Facebook page. You could run fundraisers on your page. And also, if you are a 501c3 listed organization within Facebook, other people that you don't know or that you might know can actually run a Facebook fundraiser on your behalf. And the funds, when they run that fundraiser, would be donated to your nonprofit organization. So I want to cover those three things, as well as get into a little bit of strategy when it comes to Facebook in general as a content medium for you as a nonprofit. Okay, so let's start with the very first easy checklist item, which is install a donate button on your page when it comes to your Facebook page. If you have not yet done this, you are missing out on potential donations. And the reason why this is important is that every time you're sharing content on your page and you're getting people to return to your page and check it out, and people are searching you up on Facebook and they stumble on your page, that's an opportunity to get a donor. So if you don't have a donate button on your actual Facebook page, you should do that ASAP. That is so freaking important. Give people different ways in which they can donate. So maybe they can donate when it comes to an annual giving campaign. Maybe they can donate on more of a subscription basis or on a monthly basis. Maybe they can donate on your actual website when they show up physically at events. Also give them the opportunity to donate when they come to your actual Facebook page. So number one, install a donate button on your Facebook page. Number two, you can run fundraisers straight from your page. And if you want to, you could also create a Facebook event that accompanies that fundraiser. If it's something like a virtual event, or it's an in-person event, or just a big milestone that you want people to be aware of, you could either create a Facebook event on your page, or you could actually run a fundraiser straight from your page. And in that way, the people that see the fundraiser that are connected to your page will then have much more incentive to actual donate, because there's a reason to this. You ever notice how people don't like giving money in general to nonprofits? They like it when there's some kind of a project. They like it when there's some kind of a walk or a cause or something to get involved with. They like it when there's an ongoing campaign for a specific reason. They don't just want to give money to the Red Cross. They want to hear a specific thing the Red Cross is trying to do, or they're trying to accomplish, or a project, a new project that they're working on, and then an individual is more interested in giving money to that specific project. So when you create a fundraiser on your page, that's a great way to do that. So number two, make sure, if you have not yet, try running a Facebook fundraiser on your page, or try creating an actual event on Facebook and invite people to that event, and then they can participate, they can donate that way. Number three, action item number three, and you should be writing these down, by the way. If you don't have the mental capacity to write these down, because I know I have a lot of times before I've woken up and I haven't had my coffee yet, I'm just like, whoa, I don't always, have A to Z kind of plotted out. So if that's kind of like you, and you just want all of this in a very succinct version, I recommend picking up a copy of my book, Nonprofit Fundraising Hacks. I'm going to include a link down below to that. So these are the psychological hacks, essentially, to get people to donate on day one, and also to transition people into being monthly recurring donors. It's actually called the Donor Fundraising Pyramid. There's also what's called the Donor Fundraising Funnel. So there's two different concepts I talk about in the book. I also have some YouTube videos out there on these actual concepts, but I'm going to include a link down below to that book. It's also my book, Nonprofit Crowdfunding Explained. But number three is to make sure you utilize peer-to-peer fundraising. Now, what is peer-to-peer fundraising? Well, there's two ways to raise money. One is we could knock on doors, right? I can come to your house and I can say, hey, I'm trying to raise money for this great cause to feed the homeless or to feed people in this third world country. Would you be willing to donate $5 or $25 to this cause? That's what's called a one-to-one, where you as the organization are either the internal staff is on the phone or trying to send out letters or going door to door, and you're trying to raise money, you're trying to drum up some donations. That's one way to do it. And when you think of a traditional crowdfunding campaign, that's also kind of similar in that way, where you, the nonprofit, what your responsibilities are, or your job in this process, your job is to market, your job is to push, your job is to get people excited and interested and to make that particular transaction. There's also another thing called peer-to-peer fundraising. And rather than your job being marketing, your job shifts to being education, and here's why. With a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, you are not the one who's raising money on behalf of your nonprofit organization. You're empowering people to raise money on your behalf. Let me say that again. When you do a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign, you're not the one who's raising money. You're not doing the marketing, all that kind of stuff. Instead, you have basically what I call a crowdfunding street team. And this street team, their job is to raise money on behalf of your organization. A great kind of model for this is Relay for Life. Relay for Life is in terms of raising money for the American Cancer Society, right? I believe. And with this event, people who are participants in the relay go out there and they raise money from their friends and family in order to support this event, and that all then goes to the American Cancer Society. I think that's what I believe the organization is behind it. You have to double check me honestly on that one. But that's kind of serves as a model when it comes to peer-to-peer fundraising. So you can also do this on Facebook. If you are listed as a 501c3 nonprofit organization on Facebook, you can actually encourage other people to raise money on behalf of your organization, and you can do that as a birthday fundraiser where this person just turned 29, which I did recently, and you can do a birthday fundraiser for a particular nonprofit. Maybe there's a big milestone that happened in someone's life and they decide, rather than wanting wedding presents, they decide they want to contribute money to charity. So they could run a fundraiser and all the money could be donated to this particular nonprofit organization. People on Facebook can raise money from their friends and family and do it on behalf of your nonprofit organization. And this is the third major way in which you can incorporate fundraising from Facebook into your nonprofit organization efforts. So make sure you're encouraging people to run fundraisers on your behalf, and they do that on their personal Facebook fundraising page. And if you have any questions about that, you can always book a one-on-one coaching call with me. It's an hour-long intensive call where we go step by step through everything you've been doing thus far when it comes to raising money, the ways we can improve that, also your online strategy. We can talk about that. If you need some help with implementation, we can also discuss that a little bit. You can book a one-on-one coaching call with me down below. But I want to talk a little bit more also about the ways in general in which you can use Facebook as a nonprofit. So I have another video out there on YouTube that talks about the donor pyramid and the fundraising funnel. Right? And the fundraising funnel is basically all about trying to transition people from caring about the cause to getting interested and excited about the cause to even knowing a little bit of who you are, to transitioning them into becoming donors. And this is all about marketing, right? So Facebook is incredible for this because there are so many people, there are millions and millions of people who are on Facebook who care about different causes. And you as a nonprofit organization, the way you want to think about this is that you're sending out hooks. Now, what is a hook? A hook is just a piece of content. It could be sharing a story. It could be posting a video. It could be posting a blog post that your internal team wrote. It could be posting some statistics. Anything that's going to get people interested in the overall cause that you're trying to remedy with your organization. So let's just say you are trying to solve a homelessness problem in San Francisco, or you're trying to solve a homelessness problem in your local area. What are some of the ways you can get people to care about that cause? Well, some of the ways would be talking about statistics, could be telling the actual stories of those homeless individuals. You can tell before and after stories of where before this individual was homeless, then they came to your soup kitchen, they came to your educational job program. Now, a year later, they are no longer homeless, right? So you could talk about transformational stories. You could share videos as it relates to homeless in general as a nation. What are the costs of homelessness? How does this affect you as an individual living in this community? What is holding these people back from actually achieving independence, being an integral part of our society and contributing to society? Is it the fact that they don't have education? Is it the fact that they need help when it comes to drug and substance addiction? Is it the fact that they don't know where to begin when it comes to getting a roof over their heads or jobs or opportunities? Talk about the problem. And the more content that you put out there on Facebook from myriad different sources, could be your own, could be other people's, you're gonna start to get awareness. And the people who start following and liking your page are people who also also sense that there's an injustice, who care about the problem, who see the different ramifications and the ways that this has affected their life personally, or who care about these individual stories which you're sharing on Facebook. And what you start to do is you start to flesh out what I call the top of the fundraising funnel. The top is all about interest in the actual cause, right? And the more people that are following your Facebook page, or more people that understand that kind of stuff that you're putting out, and they're liking your posts and those kinds of things, you're gonna start to fill out the top of the fundraising funnel. And then you're gonna be able to transition people into these lower levels to eventually get to the point where they realize not only do they care about the cause, not only do you see the value in helping with this cause, but you are the organization that's doing the most. You guys are the ones who are transparent. You guys are the ones who are authentic. You guys are the ones who are taking action. You're sharing your before and after stories. You're making a real difference in the community. And then it clicks in the back of their mind like, aha, it makes sense. I want to give money. I want to help with this. And this organization is the right one. This is the right one to go through. I even know a little bit about the people who work here. This is the right decision for me. Now, I recognize that a lot of what I'm throwing at you here today, this is a lot of stuff, right? This is a lot of things to digest. And also kind of talk a little bit quickly because I want to make sure that we fit a lot into this video. You know, I obviously go a lot more in depth, like I said, in my books, Nonprofit Crowdfunding Explained, Nonprofit Fundraising Hacks. I go a lot more in depth in my book. But when it comes to that, I want to give you at least a little bit of a structure here. So how could you actionably get started after watching a video like this? Well, number one, you have the three major takeaways, right? When it comes to what you got to do going forward in order to enable and to use the functionality that Facebook provides for you in order to start raising money on Facebook. You have those three takeaways. If you haven't yet, go and watch the beginning part of the video again, take notes and start to take some action on that. When it comes to utilizing Facebook as a whole, the main way we talked about this is by using free organic content. So just posting, right? You could have a Facebook group, you can be posting on your page, you can be posting video content, photos, blog posts, you could be posting other people's content, anything to get people's awareness to this particular cause, and then slowly transition them to the tangible ways in which you are helping, the tangible results in which you have, and inviting people to become a part and to ask questions and to directly message you also as a Facebook page so you can have a one-on-one conversation with them. Now, if you were to just take what I told you with this video and to distribute this to your team and be like, go and do this, they would probably fail. Or if you just took what I said in the video and you tried to execute on it, you probably would miss some pieces, right? So this is really about executing with a structure. And we do talk about this in my coaching calls, but the way that I like to think about this is number one, creating a content calendar. So a content calendar where you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna be sharing on Facebook 3 days per week. I can commit to that. I can actually do that. That is tangible to me. You're gonna create a content calendar. All that means is creating a very simple table with different dates, and you're gonna say what you're gonna post on these different dates. So there's not a lot of thinking. You don't have to come in the morning, log on to Facebook and be like, what should I post today? You're gonna make all those decisions ahead of time, and you're gonna create a very simple content calendar. The next thing that I would recommend doing is to create a theme for every single month. So January, February, March, create a theme. So maybe in January, you're gonna be talking about homelessness in a certain light, or in February, you're gonna be sharing more success stories. You go through the months and you're gonna start to talk about maybe different elements of the overall cause, because otherwise you're gonna get bogged down. There's like so much to talk about when it comes to homelessness. There's so many statistics you could draw from, and it gets so paralyzing, right? Because when you have lots of options, it means you don't take any action, because there's almost too much plenty. There's, it really almost freezes you a little bit, and it makes it more stifled and difficult to take action. So think about themes, I'd say, when you're posting on Facebook. What do I want to post in January? What do I want to post in February, March, April? And to start to think about the themes that you want to incorporate with those different months. The other thing that I noticed when I started my own Facebook marketing is that it gets really overwhelming, right? Because you have people messaging you all the time. You have to talk with real human beings. I hate talking with real human beings. It's always a little bit scary, right? And I'm kind of joking a little bit here, obviously, but like, it's just annoying at times. So the way to get over this is to assign 1 or 2 days a week where you're gonna respond to all of the messages that your page is getting on Facebook. And this is really just systematizing and formalizing the overall strategic plan, which I'm laying out here in this video. You're gonna wanna create a system so that you don't have to like worry about actually executing on these things. And also, if you hand this off to someone else, they already know what to do. So what are some of the elements besides just, the timing with the system and the calendar? Other things would be assembling these posts ahead of time, just getting a folder, either with Google Drive or Dropbox, and putting all of the images that you're gonna be posting in there. If you're using another tool like Canva, what I recommend in order to put together really high, great images and that kind of stuff, to putting all of those into a Google Drive folder and to start doing it that way. And that way, when you go and you post on Facebook, you can just go into the actual folder, you can see what day you have to post, you can put the image in there, and it's easy as pie. So the more you systemize, the more you create standard operating procedures, are called in more of the for-profit world, and you create a library of content, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to keep up with this. Because otherwise you're gonna be always struggling to like make content and like, what should I post today? When should I post? And like, you'll have so many questions. This removes all of this. Now, if you want help when it comes to establishing a system like this or hand this off to a marketing company, you can get in touch with me by booking a one-on-one coaching call with me. Not everyone has that in their budget though, honestly, to be able to work with other people. The final thing I wanna leave you with this particular YouTube video is that this is not an overnight process. You can't just start posting on Facebook and think that like solves the problem. It's really more of a gradual stages, different phases that you go through in order to really have a well-oiled machine where content's going out on Facebook. You have a Facebook group that's thriving. You have people regularly donating, regularly creating fundraisers for your nonprofit organization, and it really works like clockwork. This is a process. You could get there, I think, in the span of maybe 60 to 90 days. But really, this is a process that you are investing in. And also, it's an evolution of your overall organization. You go and look at different pages on Facebook, you see really nice graphics, right? Really cool posts, stories that are being shared, and you're like, I want to do something like that. Well, that didn't happen overnight, man. Like that actually took time. That took time to be able to create these cornerstone content pieces, to put together the graphics, all that kind of stuff. And if you've never done something like this before, it can seem very daunting. But I assure you, if other human beings have done this, other people in your industry are doing this, there's no reason that you can't also leverage the power that is Facebook. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you took away some actionable content. If you did, leave a comment down below so that I know. It's kind of like a pat on the back, like I did a good job. You should put out more content like this, Sal. Let me know in the comments down below. And also, come subscribe to this video. If you want more content like this, you'll get a notification if you turn on that little bell symbol with YouTube. But make sure you come subscribe so you can get more content just like this. And check out the links in the description if you want to go to the next step with your learning or get in touch with me personally. We can talk about that all ASAP. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. Thank you for joining me on this YouTube video, and I will see you next time.